Okay, hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is my friend Kayla.
Hi.
She's another homeschooling mom, and of course we got our wine out, so we were just kind of gabbing, and I wanted to share with y'all some reasons why we started homeschooling. I just started this segment on here, so I haven't really talked too much about it. But it is something that I wanted to share with y'all if you're kind of considering homeschooling, and you can kind of see why I decided to start, and maybe it kind of, fits why you would like to start. Maybe my story can help you, or her story, and of course, once again, there goes Italy. So again, this is Kayla. Kayla, if you want to tell them why you decided to start homeschooling?
Sure. So I honestly didn't really want to homeschool because, it's a lot, and unfortunately, with life and the things that it throws at you, we made the decision, my husband and I, to go ahead and homeschool. My oldest is actually just like an advanced reader. She read at 4 and she was just like a sponge, so we kind of just rolled with it and began homeschooling. We used certain curriculums, easy peasy and whatnot, and really made that transition into homeschooling without really wanting to do it. Pretty easy, hence easy peasy. But so it's definitely something that we encourage now, even though it is hard, and there are days where I'm like, you are going to public school. It never happens, but I really want the morals and the values that my kids learn to be good, godly values. And unfortunately, the school that I grew up in, as well as the school that all of our children are in now, it's not that way. There's not a lot of great values that are being taught, and kids are learning things they shouldn't learn, and spreading it to other friends. So I've definitely just embraced the fact that I'm a chaotic homeschool mom, and we do what we do, and we've got readers and 2 kids. I have 2 kids who can read now, so we just roll with the punches. So
I like that, chaotic homeschooling. I might have to steal that.
I have a
chaotic homeschooling. That's cute. That could be your YouTube channel. Chaotic homeschool.
Nobody wants to watch that.
I would watch. I would pay to watch that because that would be hilarious to see Lexi.
Oh.
I would pay to see Lexi during
school.
school.
From Abby. It said, homeschool mom, 2 suspended for fighting and teacher fired for drinking on the job.
I'm like, sounds about like our house, so not mad at that. So I started homeschooling, similar reasons as Kayla. At first, I'm not even gonna lie, I cried when I pulled Ty out of public school. I was sitting in her last day of school, the little assembly thing. She was in 2nd grade. And my husband sent me a text message. He had just moved to Kansas City at the time, and so he was getting everything ready there for us. And we weren't 100% sure if we were gonna move to Kansas City for a fact or come back. And so he sent me the text message maybe an hour or so before her ceremony. He's just like, we're gonna move to Kansas City and you're gonna homeschool. And I'm sitting there tears flowing in my eyes. I'm just like, I can't do this, I don't want to homeschool. And everyone's looking at me just what is going on? She's more upset about the last day of school than the teachers are. And I'm just thinking yeah, because this is her real last day of school. Yeah. She'll never be back in public school. She'll never, have those connections. Thankfully, I was super wrong, because even though she doesn't have school friends, she has church friends who became her family. A lot. And going to camp and being around them and doing certain things, it's opened her up to a new group of friends that I really do feel comfortable about. I've talked about before, we're a Christian family. Certain things we just don't believe in, certain things we just don't really want to expose them to. And I remember when she was in 1st grade, she came home. She did have a really good friend. She was super sweet, but she was teaching her about Hindu gods, and that's just not something that in our home that we really, wanted to expose her to at that time, and then also have that conversation of what we believe and why we don't believe these things. It was just a little too over her head at 1st grade. So that was another reason, like Kayla said, separating from the outside influence. And when you really think about it, teachers are around your kids 6 to like 7 hours a day.
Yes.
And who knows what, they're 100% being taught, if I'm being honest. So we really thought, okay, we're going to a new city. We didn't fully trust the school district just because my husband and I both were in those districts and we know what that culture was like. And then also Ty struggled a lot. She had reading issues. Her kindergarten teacher basically gave up on her in kindergarten. And we're just like, you're not even giving her like a real chance. Yeah, like she's struggling. Find out why she's struggling. So, excuse me, by the time she went to her new district, they wanted to put her in remedial classes. Basically, she would be in special ed. And, Ty is a very bright girl. She just understands things differently. She was about a little over 2 years behind when she was in public school. By the time we got her home and homeschooled, we were able to get her like right on par. Yes. And before we started doing this video, I was showing Kayla like some IXL numbers, and she even seen for herself, just like with language arts where she struggled the most, just how far she was able to come from homeschooling. So, the outside influence and then really being able to pour into our kids, all day, most of the time.
Yeah.
Well, mostly every day.
Every day.
And mostly every day. And outside of like an outside source, it does help. And so that's why we decided to that's why my husband decided to homeschool, and I just followed suit. I just followed along, and then eventually I learned to love it. And now if they do anything bad, I threaten them to go to public school because they don't want to get up early.
Yeah.
So
I feel like it also gives you like the chance to slow down and get on the level with your kid, to encourage them and bring them up stronger and more knowledgeable than before.
I think so too, definitely, because if you think about it, like, okay, with Phoenix, she's super advanced. Yeah. Like she's like Adriana, she's a sponge. She just picks things up so quickly, so easily. So a lot of times she's bored because it's like, I don't want to do this. Like, I already know what I'm doing. Yes. And for her to be in 9th grade and already have like a vision of what school's like she doesn't want to do it. It's boring. She doesn't really get the opportunity to be met at her level and put her focus in her, things that she's into. Like, let's be honest. Are you gonna need every single thing that you're taught in public school? No, you're really not.
I'm so glad I nailed the Pythagorean theorem.
Right. They should have taught me how to do taxes.
I needed that.
Okay, that's what they should have taught. Teach me to do taxes. I balanced a checkbook. I did learn how to do that.
I didn't. I did not get that in high school.
Well, I'm a lot older than you though. So a lot older.
Like 3 years.
No. Oh, wait, how old? How old am I? I don't know. I was born in 88. Yeah, 33. You're right.
3 years. See?
Okay, 3 years, but a lot can change in a year. So, I'm a lot older than you. But, so I did learn how to balance a checkbook. Oh. But by the time I got out of high school, no one was using a checkbook. So that's probably why you didn't do one, because everyone else had electronic like ATM cards, and
they did,
everything was like electronic. So see, a lot can change in a quick year.
Okay, you're right. Okay.
So I don't know. Do you think you'll homeschool them through high school?
Yeah, I think so.
That'll be your go-to.
I do believe so.
Yeah. In the beginning, I was like, once they get to high school, I'm out.
Yeah.
Like I told Derek, I was like, fine, I'll rock with you. We'll go 3rd grade up until like 9th grade. But once they're in 9th grade, they're out. They're going to public school, just because I didn't feel like I could keep up with that. But now that we're kind of learning more of like our own style and what exactly they need to know to be, considered like a legit homeschool, and then what we can do to supplement them in their interests and how we can get them on like a faster track. I'm definitely more leaning towards, we're going to homeschool through high school.
Yeah.
And then, of course, how like crazy it's getting.
It is getting really crazy out there. Just the things kids talk about and what they're centered on even.
Yes. The things that a lot of, like we were saying earlier, like the things that you learn, that the kids learn, they're learning it at too young of an age, and their minds don't know how to comprehend a lot of that. So when they're learning,
it makes them become more explorative and more just interested in things they shouldn't be.
Exactly. And like with our oldest, like she was on social media at a very young age, and it was something that, we would always talk to her about, like, just trying to get her to understand that we're not saying this because you're at a child age, which, I mean, it had a part of play in it, but when you are that age, your mind is not fully capable to handle the stressors, the triggers and things that go into, like, social media. So just being able to talk to our kids and keep them as far away from that as long as possible without the pressure to, like, be on social media, things like that, it definitely helps. And I think with homeschooling, you kind of think about, okay, look at the route everyone's going, like, look at the things that they're doing, like the TikTok challenge where they're destroying their schools. Like, I wouldn't want my kids caught up in that, because now it's like, all this extra baggage, like, do I have to do what's right, or are they going to cave? And, like, they shouldn't be really put up to that kind of pressure at such a young age.
Well, interestingly enough, I am in a specific Facebook group where people are starting to jump public school and jumping into homeschool boats, and they're same things that we're feeling. Ours is more like religious based, but like even people who believe differently, they all feel the same way we feel. Our kids aren't being taught the things necessary to survive life outside of that strict 8 in the morning school to 2:33, so scheduled. They don't actually learn how to live life and to roll with the punches. They just become very structure oriented. And you get out of that and you're like, what am I doing? Where am I going with this? So
even something like, it was so funny, we had when we were having dinner, like, we were talking about homeschooling with the kids and stuff, like, even something like standing in line, raising your hand to go to the bathroom. Like, I get you're trying to implement, like, respect and things like that, but what if they really have to go and the teacher's like, you can't go right now? So I just have to sit there.
Have to feminine product up. I need to go to the bathroom. My teacher hated me.
What's so funny is I can imagine you going, nope, time for me to go.
I go to the bathroom. Mr. Brian,
I gotta go.
You've seen this.
I doubt it. Don't nobody watch me. Don't nobody watch me. That's funny. Now, if you did see it, you can leave a comment, Mr. Brian.
Mr. Brian.
You can leave a comment, Mr. Brian, and apologize to Kayla.
I was bleeding everywhere.
But it's so horrible.
It's
so
bad that
bad.
kids have to even do that.
It does. And then, like, I would get in trouble if, like, I would talk in school. I mean, a lot of kids get in trouble for talking. But then it's like, okay, you tell homeschoolers, well, how are they going to socialize? They're not around anybody. They're at home all day.
Well,
and then
also
they go to
their
school.
desks, they ain't talking.
Right. Well, it's like they go to school. You're not here to socialize. So what are they there for? So what are they there for? Like, what does it really matter?
To learn how to be robots.
Pretty much. And
I graduated. I graduated in 2009. I was public school the whole way through, and I have learning disabilities. I had them as a high schooler, even middle school, elementary. No one really, saw to those needs, and so knowing that my children as well, with ADHD, and my youngest and my oldest being who she is, things just be different.
They are. And I think also, like, I was public school too, graduated, went to colleges often. I went to a lot. Like, I felt like if I was homeschooled, or even maybe, like, set on a different path, I think a lot of things would have been different, because I was just taking random things. Like, I was taking photography, which I loved, but if somebody would have been like, hey, we have more than photography 1 and 2, that could have been like maybe a career path for me, because I love taking pictures. And I just feel like that's a benefit with homeschooling, because you can really take their focus and drive it through, and, like, have everything else that they're learning some way, shape, or form focused around what they would actually want to be in life. Instead of just pumping them full of knowledge that, I don't know, they're going to keep it or they're going to lose it. I lost a lot of it. The only thing that really stuck with me was, like, some of my Spanish, like, I can ask to go to the bathroom.
Short-term memory right there. It's checked out. It's gone.
I know. I can remember most of my Spanish, and then I can remember like the boy that I sat behind or something.
Donde te duele? Where do you hurt? That's all I remember.
Chicle en la basura. Gum in the trash. I know.
Basura.
Because I was told all the time. Every morning I would come in, Señorita Margarita, chicle en la basura. I'm like, okay. We had to choose Spanish influenced names in my class. I was always Margarita.
Oh.
That was my Spanish name.
I like margaritas.
That is, yeah, it started at a young age. Oh, good grief. Okay.
I still remember, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally.
I teach that to them. I don't do new math.
I don't like the other stuff that they teach.
No, I don't do new math. We do old school math.
We do old school math.
Yeah, the PEMDAS, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, never eat soggy waffles, all of that. We never eat shredded wheat. We do all of that. And, well, they remember it. Like, yes. They remember it. I remember.
And it's less steps than what they're doing now.
It is. And we tried that new math, like, 2, maybe 3 years ago. We tried that new math. Yeah. And I'm not gonna lie, I was super confused. I was
lost.
I don't know how this goes. And I admit it. And like with Phoenix being in public school, she does like help me with certain things that they are learning in public school because it is new. Yeah. And so she showed me how to do it. And once I understood, I was like, oh, okay, I can see how this would be effective. Like how this could help somebody like break it down. But there's too many steps.
Yes,
they're going to spend majority of their time going through the steps as opposed to just learning, like if you just know your facts or if you just get a number line or whatever. It's just too many steps. And I looked at Ty, I said, okay, we're going to skip this section.
I do that often. We do skip around a little bit in our homeschool.
Yeah.
Instead of it teaching it the way that they say to teach it in the curriculum that we have, I'll do what I know my child will understand more.
Yeah.
I'll try that new system out and she's straight lost. And I'm like, all right, let's break it down even further. What's this and this? And she can figure that out and we can then go along what I know how to teach instead of, the longer, more steps. It just don't work out.
Yeah.
Not in our house anyway.
You crack me up.
Yeah.
So funny. Okay, do you have anything else you would like to add as to why you decided to homeschool?
No, I guess only other thing is, my youngest is 6 years old and she's very hyperactive. I know for a fact that she would go to school and she would struggle greatly. Whereas it does teach self-discipline, I can also teach that at home. Where it's not so much structured, where she is who she is and I don't want to break that. I want her to be enthusiastic and ready to jump on any task that we have in hand. But I don't want to break her like public school broke me. I also am ADHD and I have learning disabilities, but no one really helped me. I lost a lot and I just want to do better for my kids in that sense. So
definitely. I think I pretty much said like why we decided, why my husband decided to, I just kind of went with it and like why I'm going to stick with it. But I do want to add that if you are considering homeschooling, I hope that our stories and like our experiences could really help you. I always say if you have any questions, like I'm an open book. You can put a comment below. You can find me on Instagram, same name. You can always ask me, like I'm always up for answering questions. But if you are planning to homeschool, one thing that I wish somebody told me, and probably that you wish they told you, because I know a lot of people say this later, is that it's not going to be perfect your first day. There is no set way to do it. And you're not like public school. Don't try to imitate public school unless that type of structure fits you and your family's needs. Yes. Like there is no right or wrong way to do it. As long as your kid is learning, thriving, and enjoying being with you and you with them, you're doing it right. So enjoy, your decision-making process for homeschooling if you decide to. Again, if you have any comments, let me know, and I'll be more than happy to share that with you. So thank you, Kayla.
Thank you
for coming with me. We're on the feast. Well, not on the feast. We're at the feast. So
she was public school.
Yeah, I was public school. That's why my grammar ain't good. No, it might be this Trader Joe's wine too.
We may or may not have finished this bottle.
Well, she finished it. All right, bye. Thanks for viewing, and don't forget to subscribe and give me a thumbs up if you like the video. Bye.
Bye.